Level 1, $0. The account reads 0. Not low, empty. And empty is its own kind of loud. A $2.99 app renewal you swore you canceled pulls while you sleep and drops you under a line you had no room to cross. $35. The fee is more than 10 times the charge because at the bottom, the rule is simple. The punishment for being short is being made shorter. You don't feel angry. You feel tired. Then a second forgotten charge clears, and because you're already under, the system takes another $35. $3 is suddenly $73. You call. The hold music loops. A voice reads a script. Fees can't be reversed at this time. You ask for a manager. Someone will call back in 48 hours. Nobody calls back. By Friday, rent fails. $75 penalty. Your phone bounces. 25 more. A $3 slip is 200 deep now, growing in directions you never signed off on. Wednesday, you skip lunch and tell a coworker you already ate. You hadn't. Down here, hunger is quiet, the kind you learn to hide behind a full-looking face. You walk into the branch and watch the teller's expression flatten the moment she reads her screen. Not anger, something with no temperature at all. You feel yourself stop being a person on that screen and become a number it had already made its mind up about. You leave without saying what you came to say. Somewhere between the $3 and the call that never came, you stopped being a customer and started being a problem to be managed. Level 2, $1,000. You clawed your way above zero. 20 hours of overtime so a number could sit positive for 1 week. Nobody clapped. The maintenance fee lands anyway. $12, sometimes $15, gone overnight with no warning. The balance that would erase it is $1,500 you don't have, so you pay a bank to hold the little you've got. You apply for a card. They offer a secured one. Hand over $300 of your own dollars so they can lend it back and charge you for the favor. You read it twice. They want your money as collateral to give you your money. You walk away, which means when your tire blows Tuesday, there's nothing to put it on, and you ride the bus in 3 hours late while your manager says nothing and just looks at you a beat too long. At the counter, the teller is asking the woman ahead of you about her kids. When you step up, the warmth switches to professional. 40 seconds. No anything else. No have a good one. The next person walks up and the smile comes back like a light on a timer. You weren't refused. You weren't insulted. You were processed. At $1,000, the bank doesn't dislike you. It doesn't see you at all. Level 3, $10,000. Something turns, not in your account, in how the system reads you. Your paycheck lands the same day, the same amount, every 2 weeks. Predictable. And predictable is the one thing about you the bank finds interesting. The maintenance fee disappears. You didn't ask. It saw the pattern and stopped. The fee that bled you for years just ends because your behavior finally matched a shape that makes them money. Then the envelopes start. Real cards now. Your name in metallic ink, pre-approved by the same institution that wouldn't look at you a year ago. You apply. Approved in 90 seconds. The teller says good morning before you reach the counter. Not the warmth she gives the wealthy, not the silence she gave you at 1,000. Something in between. Recognition without affection. And you understand it. The bank never cared who you are. It cares what your account looks like. And at $10,000, your account finally looks like something it can sell to. You're not invisible anymore. You're not respected either. You're profitable. Level 4, $100,000. You open the app and your credit limit moved on its own. You didn't ask. The bank decided you'd earned more rope. Then the phone rings, and it's a person, not a recording. You've been assigned a relationship banker, Grant, who says his name twice, gives you a direct line, and asks about your goals. The same bank that parked you on hold at 0 just dialed you first. You finance a car, and the rate that would have been 11% is 6.8, not because you negotiated, because you stopped reading as a risk. A $32 fee shows up. You email Grant. 3 hours later, it's gone, handled. No form, no phone tree. The word preferred starts appearing on your statements. Grant remembers your sister lives in Denver because you mentioned it once, 9 months ago. Not kindness, training. Small things keep accounts. And the thing they hid from you at every level below finally surfaces. The bank was never cruel when you were broke. It was indifferent. And when you're drowning, never being looked at feels exactly like being held under. You're not invested in, you're invested for. Level 5, $500,000. The bank stops being a place you visit and becomes something that comes to you. Grant doesn't email now. Grant calls, and he isn't asking how you are. He's asking when you'll meet his colleague who handles wealth. The colleague drives to your office, lays a slim folder of already printed reports on the table, and asks about your timeline, your taxes, your estate. 90 minutes, and at the end, he sells you nothing, just leaves a card. The sale already happened. You simply didn't feel it land. You're not being offered products anymore. You're being consulted, and your needing them pays longer than your buying from them ever could. A wire freezes. Someone answers on the second ring and fixes it in a single call. The call that took 3 hours and 4 transfers at $10,000. They walk you past the rope line, the same line you stood in at $1,000, the one you didn't know was a line because you were inside it. A pre-approval for a $600,000 mortgage arrives before you've chosen a house. A rival bank calls to poach you. You mention it to Grant. He counters inside the hour. And here's the quiet truth under all of it. They're this warm because you finally own things. A home, a portfolio, a stake in something real. They aren't protecting you. They're protecting how close they get to what you own. You're not preferred at $500,000. You're an asset they protect. Level 6, $1 million. An invitation arrives. Private client. A phrase that means something specific inside the walls. The relationship tightens into a single private banker, and the offers stop being something you apply for and start being something extended to you. A line of credit at a rate just for you, floated before you've asked for a cent. They aren't lending you money as a favor, they're buying exposure to what you own. You walk into a branch in a city you've never visited, and they know your name before you sign. Not fame, position. The system flags you across every location and moves you to the front of a line you can no longer see. They don't push products at $1 million. They make themselves into something you need, because needing them year over year is worth more than any single sale. The bank doesn't serve you at $1 million. It arranges itself around you. Level 7, $5 million. Private banking. It sounds like wealth management. It isn't. One is a service, the other is a relationship. And relationships don't follow the rules, they negotiate them. Your banker carries fewer than 20 accounts, and yours is one of them. Your mortgage rate isn't published, it's settled in a conversation. A deal's minimum gets waived because the relationship justifies it. Paperwork that takes a normal customer 2 weeks clears in 2 days because someone was told whose account it is. You sit in a glass room with no sign on the door, at a single slab of a table that cost more than your first car, looking at a deal that will never appear in any brochure. The room only opens when the relationship justifies it. At $5 million, the bank doesn't follow its rules, it bends them around what you own. Level 8, $25 million. You don't have a banker anymore, you have a relationship, and your name is a line item in someone's performance review. 3 careers inside that institution lean partly on your account, and none of you will ever say so out loud, but the math is real. The deals are written for one client, sentences, not menus. A loan's rate is settled on a phone call, and investment's terms are drafted around your calendar. You stop applying for things. Things start arriving before you ask, brought to you while they're still private. And then the shift that isn't about access at all, but influence. The chief investment officer asks your read on emerging markets. The head of private banking flies out to ask what the next tier of clients should be offered. You are now shaping the institution that once took $35 off you for being $3 short. At $25 million, The bank doesn't have a customer, it has a partner. And this time, the partner is you. Somewhere right now, an account reads 0, and a forgotten $2.99 charge has just taken it under. The fee hits within the hour. $35. They stare at the screen and feel that tired thing that isn't anger. They call. The hold music loops. A voice reads a script. They don't know yet that nothing here is broken. The system is doing exactly what it was built to do. The same institution that will, one day, fly across the country to ask their opinion is, today, charging them for the crime of not having enough. You were the same person at every balance. The bank only ever decided who you were by what sat next to your name. Here's the part the videos about the rich leave out. The people at the top weren't loved by the bank. They were useful to it because they owned things it wanted to stand near. Businesses, real estate, pieces of real companies that keep growing whether or not a banker remembers your sister's city. That's the secret folded inside all 8 levels. The warmth was tracking ownership, never worth. So the move was never to climb the ladder and earn a kinder tier. It's quieter than that. Every month you take the difference, the fees you stop paying, the debt you don't carry, the upgrade you skip, and you put it into owning real things, and you do it for years, and you stay boring. Until one day you notice the bank's opinion of you has quietly stopped being something you chase because it stopped being something you need. The goal was never to become the bank's favorite. It was to own enough that what the bank thinks of you doesn't get to decide anything. The bank only ever reveals what it always was. What you do with that is the part that's yours.